June 30th, 2025, jury deliberations have begun in the explosive federal trial of Sean Diddy Combs, just days after closing arguments brought the case roaring to its peak. Over the past 7 weeks, the world has watched as star-studded testimonies, text messages, financial records, and cell phone data painted a startling picture of coercion and power. Now, the question hanging in the balance: will Diddy walk free, or will he remain behind bars, potentially for decades? Stay with me as we unravel the drama, pull back the curtain on what happened, and explore what's next in this high-stakes legal saga. On June 24th, 2025, after calling 34 witnesses over nearly 7 weeks, the prosecution rested its case. Among the witnesses were Cassie Ventura, Combs' former partner, known publicly as Cassie, as well as an anonymous victim called Jane, plus interior staff and federal agents. The testimony was emotional, often graphic, focusing on what prosecutors described as a racketeering enterprise. Not just random allegations, but an orchestrated scheme rooted in fame, money, sex, and control. Cassie testified that Combs forced or pressured her into explicit freak-off sessions, private sexual performances, where refusing wasn't an option if you wanted to stay in his orbit. Meanwhile, federal agents confirmed that Combs and his team booked private jets, reserved luxury accommodations, and coordinated multiple women to participate in these sessions, painting a clear picture of a system of coercion. Add to that the forensic evidence, airline records, hotel bookings, financial ledgers showing lavish spending on selected women, and text chains that seem to confirm instructions for these encounters. Prosecutors argued this wasn't bound by consent, but rather by power and expectation. By the time they rested, they made it clear: this is more than a personal scandal, it's an alleged criminal operation. 3 days later, on June 27th, defense attorney Mark Agnifilo took the stand, marking a pivotal moment. He acknowledged that Combs lived a highly sexual, unconventional lifestyle. But Agnifilo firmly stated that consent was always present, and that media narratives emerging from Hollywood gossip and sensational headlines had warped the truth. Agnifilo painted a different picture, one of adults freely choosing to participate, embracing the arrangements as part of a consensual swingers circle. He repeatedly emphasized that in a case built around control, they chose enthusiasm, not fear, as their guide. Combs himself did not take the stand, either to avoid cross-examination or because he wanted to maintain dignity. His silence spoke volumes. It was a calculated gamble. Could a jury find reasonable doubt in 5 charges without direct testimony? For viewers back home, this moment is where the narrative pivots. It's also where the real question arises. Is the defense reclaiming personal freedom or papering over serious allegations with Hollywood mystique? Fast forward to June 30th. The jury of 12 citizens, 8 men, 4 women, retired to deliberate after Judge Hernandez delivered her final instructions. She gave them clarity on at least one racketeering or sex trafficking count. If the prosecution can prove one coerced act, even a single act without valid consent, Combs can be found guilty. The dynamics inside the deliberation room are unknown for now, but lawyers familiar with RICO cases say this: persuading all 12 jurors on one count could unlock a conviction. But it only takes one holdout to force acquittal or a hung jury. Visualize that tense moment: 12 strangers from different walks of life, 10 feet apart around a wooden table, sifting through text logs, paying attention to vault-like testimony catalogs, re-examining witness demeanor. Lighting is calm. The governor's chambers outside are silent. Justice waits. Legal experts have weighed in extensively. Prosecutors only need to prove at least one coercive act, not the entire ledgers. The defense leans on the concept of consent, that any sex act involved affirmative permission and hesitation-free decisions. Juries must hold government-provided evidence to a beyond reasonable doubt standard, a high bar but not insurmountable. Furthermore, RICO cases often require establishing an enterprise, that transactions were ordered, structured, and purposeful. Prosecutors say exploiting celebrity status and staging multiple freak-off events meet that threshold. But others argue, perhaps this was just extreme but consensual adult behavior. Maybe it's tasteless but not criminal. And maybe Combs didn't orchestrate anything. The board is set. Positions have been taken. The jury must decide. Through the roller coaster of trial and testimony, Combs has remained behind bars, his bail repeatedly denied. In September 2024, bail was rejected. Prosecutors warned he could tamper with witnesses or flee. The judge echoed the concern. Diddy is internationally mobile, wealthy, and connected. Sounds reasonable, but in June 2025, as the trial neared conclusion, defense still did not request bail again. Why? That doesn't happen unless they believe delays, appeals, or settlement leverage remain options. Or maybe defense is convinced that jurors' sympathy, or at least reasonable doubt, will come through. Regardless, for now, Combs remains incarcerated. He won't be walking out of the county detention center, maybe until verdict day, maybe much longer. No matter which way the jury leans, the aftermath is undeniable. If convicted, Combs faces decades or even life in federal prison. RICO violations could stack one after the other. He could vanish behind bars for a long period. If acquitted, he walks out, free to resume business, legacy, maybe even release the Netflix docuseries now in post-production. That could be a redemption arc or a reignition of public debate. Expect widespread coverage in entertainment media, talk show pundits weighing in, celebrities tweeting their opinions, sponsors scrambling, and a newly released docuseries starring a phenomenon never fully understood, Sean Diddy Combs. In just days, maybe even hours, the jury will emerge with their verdict. Will history see Diddy as a criminal mastermind or a misunderstood music mogul shaped by a unique lifestyle? One thing is certain, the ripple effects go far beyond a courtroom. Finance deals, streaming content, public image, relationships, they all hang in the balance. So subscribe now, click the bell, and don't miss our full verdict reaction video, backed by expert analysis and raw footage, all coming your way right after the jury returns. Tune in with us and witness the Diddy trial verdict live.